Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel Beauty of Language. So today in this video I am going to give you a summary of the story Indigo written by Satyajit Ray. But before I start the summary, a few things, a bit of reminder that if you are new to the channel and if you have not subscribed to the channel yet, then do subscribe it now. And if you want to listen to the explanation of this story or the summary of the story in Hindi, then you can visit my channel Beauty Bharadwaj and also subscribe it. And the questions that can be asked in the exam, all the suggestions I have put on my website beautyoflanguage.in. If you want, then you can check them out. And the summary, the line by line explanation of all the poems and ISC syllabus from Rhapsody, I have uploaded them all on my channel. Do check it. The videos on the summary of the Act 3, 4 and 5 in Macbeth, all the videos are uploaded. Dekh lena. So now, starting with the story, the main character of the story, the protagonist of the story is Aniruddha Bose. Okay, इन्होंने अपनी आप बीती बताई है, ठीक है. So Aniruddha Bose is a 29-year-old man who works in an advertising agency and he lives in Calcutta. So since the story was written back in the 1960s, so at that time the name of Kolkata was Calcutta. It is the old name of Kolkata. So he take a 1 week leave from work and he plans to drive to Dumka to visit his old friend Pramod. So his journey starts a bit late because an old family friend, they come to visit him. And also there is a character named Bhola Babu who asked him that Dumka is far away, it's almost 200 miles, so shouldn't you have arranged for a driver? But then Anirudh said that he had been a cautious driver, he is a good driver, so nothing to worry about. So finally the journey starts, the whole description is given that which way he took, which road he travelled, the places that he crossed. Okay, so those things are not that much important, so I have skipped that part. So while driving through this lonely countryside, a sudden storm appears, a sudden storm comes that is called Nor'wester, जिसे कि हम we also call it Kal Baisakhi. And then he has expressed his thoughts about if he would have been at home, then he would have definitely enjoyed that smell of rain. जो खुशबू होती है सांधी सांधी खुशबू मिट्टी की, he must have definitely enjoyed it, but since he is not at home, he is driving and in this lonely countryside, so he's not kind of much of enjoying it. Okay, so there was heavy rain, strong winds. While waiting during the storm, one of the tires, it got punctured, and after a while another one also got punctured, and since there was no spare tires left there with him, and also he lost his way. It was already dark, so he was not able to figure out the way. He was lost. So Aniruddha gets stuck on a very deserted road, khali rasta. Now when the rain gets lighter, he notices that a faint light is coming from a nearby cottage. So seeing the light, he's confirmed that there must be someone living nearby. He left his car behind because it was not possible to take it along with him, and also the way to that light, it was very narrow, and there finally he reached that place from where the light was coming, and then there he met a man whose name was Sukhan Ram, and he was the caretaker of an old dark bungalow. So Sukhan Ram, he offers him food ki aap khaoge kya, and then he says that yes, chapatis and urad ki dal is my favorite, so he eats them, and also Sukhan Ram, he allows him to stay in the bungalow for the night. So Aniruddha, he gets to know that bungalow was once belonged to a British indigo planter, and there used to be an indigo factory nearby. So he feels kind of relieved that he found shelter in such a deserted place. He goes to sleep while thinking about the past of that place. Finally, late at night, Aniruddha wakes up after hearing a scratching noise and the barking of a dog. So he thinks that there must be a dog living nearby. So he soon realizes He checks his watch to know the time. Then he realizes that his wristwatch, torch, suitcase, everything is missing. He thinks that he had been robbed by someone. Then he notices that something even more frightening has happened. His clothes completely changed. He had gone to bed wearing a vest, but now he was wearing a long sleeved silk shirt. His skin, it looked pale, and his voice, it sounded English. So when he tried to call Chaukidar, I don't know, the text which the online text which I got where I read the story, it is not written there, but another text which I read, it was written that he called out Chaukidar, then Chaukidar. So the accent also, his accent also was changed. Okay. So when he looks into the mirror, he's shocked to see the reflection of a young Englishman instead of himself. So everything in the room, it just completely changed. The bed, the table, the light, and new things were visible. Also, he noticed that he was wearing narrow trousers with socks, and there was a pair of black boots by the bed. He realizes that he has been turned into a 19th century Englishman. Then he describes that how the Englishman looked about the age of 30, even though he was just the age of 30, but he was looking aged than he actually was, maybe due to some illness or maybe due to extra hard work. So without being able to, he was not able to control his actions. Okay, बस चीज़ें होती जा रही थी. Anirudh, he sits down and he starts writing in a leather bound diary. So the diary entry, it was dated April 27, 1868. So from the journal that he was writing, we get to know that he is now an English indigo planter who is seriously ill with malaria. And in the diary, the planter admits that he was greedy and cruel to the local people, and he feels ashamed of his past. He's guilty, he's sad, he's troubled. Now here a bit of information about what happened in the 18th century related to the indigo plantations. So the Indian farmers they were forced to grow indigo instead of food crops. Since indigo was very high in demand, that is why instead of food crops, they were forced to go grow indigo, and they were trapped in heavy debts, bhari karz, low payments, and very cruel treatment by British planters. So in 1859, the farmers, they united and protested against this injustice, and this exposed the cruelty of the system. Now though indigo farming, it was later declined, but the fear and suffering that it caused, it was never forgotten. Getting back to the story, he believes the Anirudh, who is in the form of that Englishman, he believes that he will die in India only, and he'll be reunited with his wife Mary and son Toby, who have already died. Now he is very much worried about his loyal dog Rex. He writes that the people, they are not going to spare it after his death. And after writing this, he suddenly stops writing. He takes a pistol from a drawer and walks onto the veranda. So there he sees a large grey dog. Although Anirudh is watching all this and terrified, but still his hand moves on its own, and he shoots the dog. So hearing noises from the direction of the factory, the Englishman goes back into the room. Obviously after hearing the noise, people started coming. So the Englishman, he goes back into the room, he locks the door, and he shoots himself also. After this, Anirudh then wakes up to the sound of knocking and Sukhan Ram calling him for tea. It is now the morning of April 28, 1968, exactly 100 years after the death of the British indigo planter. Now everything is back to normal. His watch is on his wrist, the sun is shining. Sukhan Ram, he tells him that a repair shop is nearby. So this strange experience, it finally ended. But Aniruddha is left wondering that whether anyone would ever believe the terrifying events that he lived through that night. He not only experienced, he lived through it. So this story shows, as I said, how the cruelty of British indigo planters, it continues to haunt even today through guilt, change of identity, and supernatural experiences. So the story, it portrays that the sin committed by the colonial exploitation, it can never be buried, and they are always going to come back to trouble the people living. So that is all about the story Indigo. For the suggestions of the questions, as I said, go to my website beautyoflanguage.in. Any queries, do mention in the comments below. I'll see you in my next video with a summary of another story of class 12 IAC syllabus. Till then, bye bye, take care.